you guys are there. What do you do when you're out of ideas? You know, when you're sitting around and playing your instrument, whatever it is, and you say, man, I don't have anything today. I'm just sitting down, I'm trying to come up with something, and I'm trying to, working on different ideas here. Just play the lick, just play the lick. Carol's turning off the lights here. Hey everybody, that looks good. That looks good. Carol, can you play the lick, please? They want the lick. Carol's gonna play the lick for everybody. There we go. There's the lick. Okay, so you know, sometimes I do this myself. I sit down, I start to play, and I say, well, what am I gonna play? Am I gonna practice a tune? Am I gonna write a tune? Am I gonna, you know, practice scales, arpeggios? Am I gonna, you know, work on substitute chord changes? Am I gonna transcribe a solo? What do you do to get out of these things? That's really the question here. It's like, how do you break out of ruts? You know, how do you come up with something to play? I usually start with something, with some type of idea, and see if I can find a solution to it, because really this is all kind of it's all, you need to just try to create things that you haven't done before, but you got to come up with some ideas to start off with something. You can sit here and I do this. I'll sit here and I'll just jam for an hour straight and try and come up with something, and I don't know what it is. I just start playing. But when I really want to work on something, that's kind of where it gets a little bit tricky. So, oh, by the way, discount on the book, Carol, what is it?
RB 528.
RB 528, Memorial Day. What's up, Ron? Memorial Day sale here, 20% off, Beato book. Let's say I take a concept like, you know, chromatic sidestepping, you know, or something like that. You know, people always ask me about that. Let's just say you take something simple, like if you're taking the pentatonic scale and you're moving it by half steps. Let's say that you'll, let's say we'll just take something like this. We'll take it out of this, that would be like A major or something. Well, let's say here, let's do this, say D major. Okay, so let's say I'm taking D major. I'm doing it in this position. D major pentatonic, B minor pentatonic. It can be over B minor chord, okay? So let's say I take that chord and I say, well, I know that how can I come up with something interesting using maybe some chromaticism in it? You know, you can play it. That sounds kind of like Steve Lukather. It's almost like the Rosanna lick there. But let's say I'm using kind of half step below. But I want to come up with something that sounds more interesting, that doesn't sound like it's a pattern. So I want to go with something where I'm doing maybe some string skipping. Something like that, right? I've got B minor. So I'm going the 11th to the 5th to the flat 7, or to the 3rd to the 4th. Ooh, that's nice. So I'm getting up into this pentatonic. Okay. Okay, so I'm using a different pentatonic. So I'm using notes that are a half step away, but I'm not doing it where it's the exact same pentatonic. So I used a half step below right here. So I'm using definitely a different note I'm using from a half step below. And then I'm using a half step above here. So I'm using a F minor. So I'm really going from B minor pentatonic to F minor pentatonic, a tritone away. Sounds kind of cool. Or ooh, that's kind of cool. What's up? Let's see here. So what am I doing there? I can do it like it's an E minor. Ooh, that's even nicer. It's nice to have that pedal tone on the bottom because it gives you something to play over, right? That's why it's nice to have open strings on a guitar. You do the same thing on the left hand of the piano. Play the bass note, play a chord, play the line, right? So cool sound, right? That's nice too. I did kind of came down a little sus arpeggio there. Nice. So that chromaticism like that is cool. What else can you do though? That's nice because it has some nice interval jumps in it and it sounds cool. I kind of use I'm using which gives me like a flat 6 sound. Are people talking about 432? Ban anyone that talks about 432. Anybody that talks about 432, Carol's gonna block right now, okay? Never can comment on here again. How's that? I hate boring arguments about 432 and 440. Block them. Block the exclamation points there. Block the wise guys. Whoa, you checking that out? 432, you don't have to do the LOLs. The wise guys. Banhammer the nuts, that's right. Censorship, get rid of censorship. Boom, gone. That's right, baby, censorship. Hold on, let me ban them myself, Carol.
Nice.
Ah,
I'm faster now.
Carol, what? Censorship, give me a break, censorship. It's my channel, man. You know? Come to my house, knock on the door. I might let you in, I might not. What's up, everyone? Anyway, so I think it's really, really, you got to really play yourself out of a rut or work on other ideas from other people. I think that's probably the, for me, that's probably the best thing that has helped me in the past is to take ideas, read things, take the Beato book, read examples, try and incorporate these ideas in your own playing. And it's not just, I remember the first time I realized that when I was learning how to play jazz, that major 2/5s and minor 2/5s were related, kind of. This is kind of a weird idea. So let's say you take a, oh brother, get rid of this Moonchild with this 432 crap. Give me a break with this.
You're gonna do it?
They're gone with this Heels DNA. Dude, I told you, Moonchild. Talk about 432, go somewhere else. There you go. Boom! If you're mad about it, you can write me. I might unman you. So people are like, what? Nathan's like, what? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Hammering 432. Yeah, but don't write 432 because Carol's going to ban you. You know what? I'm just going to put that in the thing that anybody that writes 432, just that their comments don't come through. What about 431, wise guy? Okay, so I remember the first time though that I realized this, that major and minor 2/5-1s were similar in that, let's say I've got a key, let's say I'm in the key of F and I have G minor to C7 flat 9 to F major 7, right? And then I say, okay, if I take the relative, what are you doing, Carol?
I wanna check something, because there's a typo in the title.
There's a typo in the title? You can't do anything about it now, Carol.
Okay.
I don't think she can. Maybe you can.
I'm just gonna double check. And like 10 people have said something about it.
I didn't have my glasses on, sorry. Can you actually change the title here, Carol?
I'm gonna try. You can continue.
Okay, so if I'm so I have a 2/5-1, if I'm in either F major or D minor, that the 5 chords are similar, right? If you're using like a dominant diminished sound, for example. Because I can play the same, basically the same type of lines. If I did something like this, let's see, okay, if I play something like that, and I do the same line, same thing, right? So I said that's on C7 chord, that's 3rd flat 9 root, flat 7 to the 3rd of F major. But on an A7 chord, it's 5th to the 3rd to the sharp 9, flat 9 to the 5th. Right? And I was like, wait a minute. So those two chords are really related. C7 flat 9 and A7 flat 9. Huh. And then I realized, well, of course they are. They come from the same scale. They come from the same diminished scale, the same half whole, or what we call dominant diminished scale. So that revelation there, just by practicing one line like that and then realizing, wait a second, those two things are related. So anytime you're in a major 2/5-1 and it's relative minor 251. So in this case, this is a major 251 in F, and this is a minor 251 in D minor. It's the same, it's basically the same progression, right? Because E minor 7 flat 5 is a G minor chord over E. C7 flat 9 is the same exact notes from the dominant diminished scale as in A7 flat 9 because they're a minor third apart. Okay, so right there, one little idea of just goofing around, and as Carl just said, G minor 6 is the same as E minor 7 flat 5, just the notes are reordered, okay? It's a different inversion of it. So you can take any of your ideas. This is kind of why guys like Pat Martino, you'll hear, he plays, oh, we'll get to that here. I got something in yellow Carol came across here. We'll have to get to that here in a second. So major and minor are really, really related in the same way. So C7 flat 9 and A7 flat 9 use the exact same notes, okay? They're both from the same diminished scale. If I play this scale on A7 flat 9 and C7 flat 9, it's the same notes, okay? It has all, but it's just a different relationship to it. But it's all the same. It's the 1, the flat 9, sharp 9, third, sharp 4, fifth, sixth, flat 7. Both those scales have them, but they're just different relationships to each other. So major and minor in that way, 251s are related. So so right there, just knowing something like that, that can take you into many, many different directions. And guys, like I said, like Pat Martino, only think of one chord. When he's thinking over a dominant chord, he thinks the 2 chord. He just thinks of minor 7th chords. When he's thinking of E minor 7 flat 5, he's thinking G Dorian, right? Because this is a similar thing. Now, the key is you still got to play the right notes in the right spot. Okay, that's where where the ear comes in and artistry and knowing how things work together. So just taking an idea and just kind of exploring it, and this is like, well, let's see, if I play any of my licks that I play, 251 licks, I'm thinking, or
By the way, the yellow thing was a super chat.
yeah.
Did you catch he asked
I don't know who he's talking about. Monty. Let me read that again. Who is Monty? What was it? Rick, have you had a chance to check out Monty Booker's production style? Greetings from upstate New York. I have not checked out Monty Booker's production style. You're in the Finger Lakes. Are you near Zachary? Are you near Ithaca? Where are you from exactly? In the Finger Lakes, because that can be a lot of different places. Canandaigua. I did my student teaching at Canandaigua High School. Nice. I mean, Canandaigua's, oh man, 30 minutes. I grew up in Fairport. But I did my student teaching at Canandaigua High School. I told this story, I don't know, a couple months ago. The guy, I mean, this is 30 years ago, so this is not, or 30, when was it? 34 years ago. The second day or the third day of my student teaching, so I was a string major in college, right? So I go to Canandaigua. It's your first semester of senior year of college when I was a music education major. So I go and I go to the orchestra, and the guy's name was Mark. That's all I remember. My supervising teacher. And the third day I was there, he had a heart attack. And I'm not making light of this. He survived, but he was out for the rest of the year. So I had no supervisor as my student teacher, or when I was student teaching. What a nightmare. The kids, the junior high kids, I'd go and I'd have to go tune their instruments, and I'd walk around, then I get back, they'd steal my baton, they'd steal my music. It was hilarious. I would get so mad. Oh, it was amazing. The guy ended up surviving, but I had no supervising teacher for my student teaching. So I basically worked at the school and didn't get paid for the whole semester. And the students, you know, I was a student teacher. I wasn't that much older than them. I was only 22, 21. And I was 21, and it was horrible. It was like the worst experience ever. Hey, Tom. I told that on the night on the my late night live on my other YouTube channel one night. It was that was so funny though. It was great though. They got away with not paying me, and it was the dumbest thing though. I would go around because it drove me nuts that they would be so out of tune. So I would actually walk around the whole orchestra and tune everyone's instrument for them because I couldn't take it. It was, and you know what? That's a huge thing that high school orchestra directors don't realize is if you make everybody buy a snark tuner and put it on their instrument, because if they're, hey Peter, good to see you. If the kids can't tune their instruments at the start of rehearsal, they're never going to play in tune. So, you ever hear high school orchestras about how bad they are? I've heard one recently, actually. Now, high school orchestras, junior high orchestras, even worse. So, anyways, that was pretty horrible, that whole experience there. But I'm thinking, like, I get there, I'm in there like a Wednesday. I start at Canandaigua. Drive down there, was living at my folks' house, took me 30 minutes to drive there, and Zachary, I'm sure you weren't even born then in 1984, but it was, so I meet the guy Mark, nice guy. I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be great. He's a great teacher, telling my folks. All of a sudden Monday, he doesn't show up, and the principal comes down and says, Rick, I got some bad news. Mark, I think his name was Mark, had a heart attack and is not going to be in today. And there was no reason to get a long-term sub since I was there. So, anyways, that was my student teaching experience. There wasn't much learning. But that's actually why, honestly, that was one of the reasons why I went back to school and I said, I'm not going to get out and teach. There's no way I'm going to teach junior high. It's way too hard. So I went back, I got my master's degree, and then I got a college teaching gig, which was good that was weird because when I was first year teacher, the students were only a year younger than me, the seniors. So that was actually kind of a weird experience too. Anyways, everybody putting on the years they were born. Who was born? Who was born before? How many people were born after the year 2000 here?
There's like a bunch.
I saw that. That's amazing. 1995. What?
Yeah, because it's
Carol, what year were you born? 95?
95, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys were born the year Carol was.
This guy Alex was born in 2004.
In 2004? What? Man, that's 3 years before Dylan. 75, 96, 2000, 88, 68. There we go, the 60s.
Oh, I was
How about some minor sixth pentatonics for getting on the right way? Let me look at all these things. 1960, there we go. That's my era. 30 years old, 1982, 52, there we go.
55. Amadeo.
55, 88. 1964, your dad, oh man, 78, what? 66, 76, 64. Holy smoke, this is amazing. 88, 90, 69. This is weird. Where's all the people born in the 70s? Anybody? Born in the 70s? Nathan, give me a break. 1492. 68, 432, HK, wise guy. 67, 75. There we go. We have a winner. 71. Okay, 79. We got some 70s here. 77. Pete, good. 72. 1939. There we go. I know Peter, 1930. Yes, everyone, Peter Smart, my dear friend who's on here right now, was born in 1930 in England. And he is an amazing human being. And Peter gives me a lot of ideas for my videos. And I want to thank him. Well, I have 436 people on here. I want everybody to thank Peter because I say, Peter will write to me and say, hey, here's an idea. The Gibson video, Peter's idea. I mean, probably about, I don't know, at least 40 of my videos, I got the ideas from Peter for things to talk about. And we're going to do that one on the Fender thing, Peter, that you sent me. You guys hear about this? That Fender was raided? Oh man, this is good. This is going to be a good one. There's really not a lot of details on it, on what's going on with this, but Fender guitar, Fender was colluding with other companies like Roland. From the thing I read, with Roland, Korg, I guess some type of price fixing thing. It was yesterday. It was in the news yesterday. So, anyways, that'll be a good story for this week. Yeah, some type of price fixing. I mean, all they have to do is say, "Hey, I'm not going to go below this." I mean, right? Isn't that what price fixing is? You know, hey, this is what we're going to sell this for, so don't you guys sell this for that? I mean, come on, how do you? Unless you get emails, how do you even prove that? It's I'm sure it goes on all the time in the music business. Okay, so which is apparently illegal. It is illegal. What did I think of TV songs for the 70s? What makes this song great? Well, that wouldn't really be necessarily for that. That's more of in the film scoring vein, but absolutely. Jackie, can I talk about classical music some? What do you want me to talk about classical music? The raid was for emails, not product. Okay, is that right, Ron? Okay. How about Bob stuff? You can always get it for less, right? Did I ever play with Jacob Collier? I did not play with Jacob Collier. Hold on, wait. What am I going to talk about? Okay, George has a thing here. It's about perfect pitch. I'll answer this. Somebody interviewed me from some English magazine on Saturday about perfect pitch. They wanted my opinion on something. Some adults can develop perfect pitch article or study or something that came out again, some baloney like that. And somebody just asked, how do you know that Mozart and Bach had perfect pitch if there was no standard A? Right, Carol? Did you read? Is that what it was? Okay. Carol has perfect pitch. Carol, does it matter what the pitch? I mean, once you have a fixed pitch in your head, right, then it's just, it doesn't matter what the name is, right? You recognize the sound of it.
Yeah,
And you can name it anything if you want.
I guess, but since I learned it through what is standardized now, that's what I.
That's what you related to, right?
Yeah. But if, I would know that it's I know what that is.
Right. So if Mozart was, they found a tuning fork that was a piano builder in Vienna, apparently, that made pianos for Mozart and Beethoven, and they found his tuning fork, and it was A421.6. Oh, here we go into conspiracy theories. Okay, so let's say that all the pianos were tuned in Vienna at the time, in Germany, that they were tuned around 420 some odd, right? That's your standard A pitch, down from what it is 440 now, right? But, before then, you had harpsichords, and people would tune their own harpsichords. So they tune it to whatever standard pitch they heard. But don't forget, there were organs that had fixed pipe lengths at the time, I would imagine, right? You had organ builders, and they probably had, I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine that at the time, there were standard length and width pipes for organs that probably paid that everybody built organs in the same way, and they used certain, organ builders probably had these schematics to build organs. So people, I would imagine they had agreed upon pitches, and guys like Bach said, no man, this is A. And, and he plays the harpsichord, tunes it up like he hears it, or tunes it to whatever else, because you got to figure all the instruments needed to tune to each other. So there had to be some type of standard tuning instrument that they used. Either they're tuning to the organ and the entire orchestra. So all the instruments are going to be built to be tuned to that same pitch. They're going to be able to hold the same amount of string tension where it doesn't make the instrument explode, a violin. If you have a Stradivarius now, right, that was built in the 1600s, does it need to tune up to A440? If it was built to be tuned at A420 or A416, obviously it can handle the tension of an extra half step all the way across the set of strings. So you're only talking probably within a half step of each other. And the idea of perfect pitch, the guys would remember the things that they heard and be able to reproduce them in whatever pitch instruments they had. So if you're tuned down a half step at A415, let's say, like a lot of Baroque music is when they do it, Bach hears it and is like, okay, I hear it in this key, and plays it, and his thing might be tuned to A440, his harpsichord, right? And he just plays it down in A flat, if it's an A. So, having perfect pitch and not having a standard tuning note doesn't really mean anything. You can have perfect pitch and do that. Perfect pitch is just being able to recall things exactly the same as you hear them every time, period, without a doubt. When I was driving home from the beach today with Dylan, I told him to sing, what was the song? It was some video game or something. Oh, no. It was this thing that lion is the Hosanna, look at him and his teeth. What was this? It's this ping pong thing that Layla loves. The lion is king of the savannah, look at his something teeth. Da, 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 da. So does anyone know that? Somebody must know that. Somebody has kids and knows that, because it has about 1 billion plays on YouTube. So I said to Dylan,
You're on the right key?
did you find it?
Yeah.
She found it. There it is. You see, I was right in the right key. There you go. So Dylan, I said to Dylan, hey Dylan, what was the key? And that's what he sang. Da 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 da. He hadn't heard it, and the reason is because we had just come from Savannah. This is what Layla, why it came into her head, and something that she listened to a couple years ago. And I asked Dylan, and Dylan sings that. It doesn't have anything to do with perfect pitch. He's not thinking what the notes are. He just sings what his brain, which is like a recorder, like Carol's brain is a recorder. And they're just playing back things that they hear the same way every time. That's what perfect pitch is, okay? Well, perfect pitch is then and being able to name it. What year is this telly? I don't know. I bought it when I was in my old band Billionaire, and I would say it's probably 99, 98, something like that. I'm not sure. Noam asked if I can explain negative harmony. Somebody asked me that on my other channel yesterday. I can, and I did in a video that's entitled, it's entitled Musical Palindromes and Negative Harmony. Can you find that, Carol, and put that in the thing? It's really about palindrome. Yes, that guy. Very good. Tom, I should do a guitar album. I'm gonna do a guitar album. You're loving the Instagrams. Oh, by the way, follow my Instagram, everybody here. It's Rick Beato 1. I've been putting up a bunch of guitar things. I've had some heavyweights weighing in, man. Victor Wooten liked one of my videos the other day. I know Victor, so it's not that big a deal. And Dweezil Zappa liked one of my really fancy ones. But I'm really trying to, part of my thing about practicing every day, I'm trying to do an hour of practicing every day, and do a post on Instagram every single day, at least one post. And I'm doing some extra stuff. Anything I forget to put in my What Makes This Song Great videos, I put over there. I'm gonna do a video later for that too. What about videos about modal jazz? Oh my God, how many videos do I have of modal jazz? Anybody?
A lot.
I probably have 50 videos on modal jazz. I got, between my two channels, over 600 videos. Okay, Andre, yes, do I structure my practice sessions in advance? You just pick up a guitar and play. I usually just pick up the guitar and play now. I used to structure them, 128 videos on modal jazz, pretty much. I used to have a structured practice regimen because there were so many things that I didn't know in college that I needed to keep track of the things that I had already worked on. So I had a journal, I had a music journal. It was harder to journal your things. I mean, you actually physically had to write them in a book. So I would have a practice regimen. I mean, the things that I was talking about the other day on my stream when I would practice my arpeggios like that, and I would do them off the thing. And I had this thing where it's like, okay, you're gonna practice things at the note, above the note, and below the note. That was kind of one of the things. I did not study at Berkeley. I did my undergrad at I don't mean that in any bad way. I did my undergrad at Ithaca College, like I said earlier, and I did my master's degree at New England Conservatory in Boston. So on the guitar, so I was a bass major in college. I was not a guitar major, I was not a piano major, I was not anything. I was a classical bass major in college, my undergrad. I was jazz guitar for my master's. And you notice I don't play my bass very often, but I do have it in the other room, and I will start playing it once I practice it a little bit. So I would practice below the note, at the note, and above the note. So what does that mean? Below the note means starting on your pinky on the guitar, okay? So if I were to play, for example, let's say A Mixolydian, okay? That's below the note. Then I go at the note. Then above the note. I was a little slow in that because I haven't stretched my hands out yet. Then the next thing to do is like, okay, well, I need to add the extra notes on the top of the scales. This one, there's no extra notes. But this one, there's extra notes. So I was able to get the C sharp stay relatively similar to that position there. And then I go here. And I get up to that D. So I've covered those notes. I have A mixolydian here. If you go to root 5 then, meaning the root off the 5th string, and you play below, at, and above the note, you cover the entire neck. That simple. Okay, so here. Right, and then I say, well, what are the extra notes there below? Okay, so I've got that. So if I go here, right? And then I go here. Right? Then I go here. So I'm playing above the note. So I'm going A, right? And then you're like, okay, where do I go here? Okay, what about next? And that actually gets me all the way up to the high A there. And I grab those notes there. Okay, so there, so I've gone, if I go just root 6, meaning root on the low string, below, at, above, and then do root 5, below, at, above, and play all the notes available in those positions, you will get the entire fingerboard of A mixolydian like that with 6 fingerings, okay? Then what you do is you figure out how to combine the different positions. So you practice. Like that. So I'm moving from position to position. And that is a way to practice, to learn the neck, and a great thing for your practice regimen. So that's the thing that I would do for scales and arpeggios. That was probably the best way that I learned them. That's why I can play the things all over the neck, is the below, at, and above thing. And I have those in the Beato book. There's all those fingerings are in there for you. What's the code, Carol? RB 528. Today's date. For 24 hours, 20% off. All right, go sign up to my Instagram, Rick Beato 1 on Instagram. And you'll see me post a video there later.